The choice you have as an underdog is if you're going to choose to fight and choose to fight to win. There are a series of strategies available to you, but they are all more costly than the strategies available to the favorite. Effort is the route, one of the routes available to the underdog. I can outwork you. I may not be able to outspend you, but I can outwork you. Well, outworking is a tall order. It's not easy to do.
There are many character traits we've all encountered that resonate with us on a personal level. Some people relate to the competitiveness of a character, others to those with unwavering determination, compassion, clear goals, or bravery who puts others first before themselves. But the characters that speak to me the most are those who are often overlooked. The ones who, against all odds, rises to the top and continue to push themselves past their limits without the grace of natural talent. They're the ones often seen as weak or insignificant, but prove everyone wrong by the end of it and defy all expectations. What do you call these type of characters again? Hard workers? Tenacious? I think a better word I'd use would be the underdogs. There's something universally compelling about Underdog. It's the idea of cheering for someone up against impossible odds, but refuses to give up. It taps into a deep, almost instinctive belief that, with enough persistence and determination, victory is possible, even when it seems completely out of reach. We're all drawn by Underdog stories. There's something we've witnessed time and time again, each with their own unique twists and iterations throughout the years. Movies like Rocky, Karate Kid, and Pursuit of Happiness, to games like Resident Evil, Far Cry 3, and Elden Ring. We see it. By all logic, a random traveler, guided by the grace of gold, shouldn't be able to defeat a god. Yet, somehow, it happens.
Let us go together, my dear consort eternal.
Lays it out, lays it for the man, the magician, the superstar. It's the signature god!
There are countless instances when this phrase is implemented in sports, where a team or person is set to face an undefeated powerhouse, coming back from a 3-1 deficit, having an insane run in the biggest stage of a fighting game tournament, defeating a team that was heavily favored to dominate in the Olympics. It's a concept and phrase that is familiar, a word that represents hope, resilience, and the belief that anyone, no matter who they are, has the potential for greatness. These stories, these moments, are what connects us on a deeper level. It has this ability to evoke emotions we sometimes can't put into words, and it's the relatable elements of it that makes the moment or character more enjoyable, as we see parts of ourselves in them. So with that in mind, who are some characters that I think embody the perfect underdog archetype? In most stories, whether it's a shonen or seinen, underdogs are often birthed from the fruits of inferiority. They're the characters who are overlooked by others and labeled as weak, which sparks their journey to expand and grow beyond their weaker selves, defying expectations and molding into their true potential. Characters like Boji, who throughout the series is expected to fail due to his small stature and his inability to speak. In a world where strength and power are valued above all else, Boji is dismissed by many, including his own family and friends. Despite these obstacles, he displays his immense determination and resilience. He refuses to accept the label given to him by others, instead taking action and growing with each encounter to the point where he builds the confidence he was lacking early on in the season, making him a perfect embodiment of the classic underdog story. Similar to Boji, you also have Belle, a character who also shares a similar title as him, being called weak and often mocked by their peers. Many adventurers, along with gods and goddesses, see him as someone who isn't likely to succeed. Given his humble beginnings and limited strength, Belle is constantly underestimated. But instead of this discouraging him, this fuels his desire to push forward and set a name for himself and his familia. Even someone like Denji, again, is a character that fits one of the qualities needed to be considered an underdog. Placed in a powerless position, his life is marked by constant struggles, with little hope for a better future. Whether it be physical or emotional challenges, fighting powerful devils, navigating betrayal, being manipulated by those far more powerful than him, he continues to press on, working towards his goal at achieving a better life and escaping his current reality, which, to me at least, makes his journey incredibly relatable. His strong desire to improve his circumstances makes Denji's story compelling, and someone you once again cannot help but root for. Then, there's other characters like Kaneki, Naofumi from Rising of the Shield Hero, Asta, and Sun Jinwoo to some extent. Perhaps the most iconic example would be Rock Lee, a character who is physically gifted but unable to use ninjutsu or genjutsu, the two main combat techniques in the world of Naruto. Despite his limited and restricted abilities, he refuses to let that stop him from striving to be the best version of himself. Hakimaru, who due to circumstances has no eyes, ears, limbs, or any internal organs, and is forced to fight against demons to recover the parts of himself. His journey is more than just regaining his body. It's about finding his place in the world and understanding his own humanity, come to terms with his past and his identity, and fight against forces far greater than himself. In shows that aren't action-oriented, underdogs aren't portrayed through their strength and resilience, rather than their raw physical powers and fighting capabilities. Instead, it's through their values and obsession of change, or even their goals and aspirations, that's so contagious, you can't help but hope to see them succeed. Rock from Black Lagoon fits the underdog character type in several key ways. Initially, he's just a regular businessman, a salaryman caught in a violent world of the Lagoon Company after a kidnapping gone wrong. Unlike the hardened mercenaries around him, Rock starts out as someone who's out of his depth, lacking any combat skills or the ruthless mentality necessary to survive in this kind of world. Over time, he adapts, using his intelligence and wits to navigate situations that would normally be dominated by physical power. He's someone who's a lot more down to earth and relatable, as I'm sure most of us put in the same situation as him would probably react the same way as he does. Hachiman, though not in the traditional sense of overcoming physical challenges, his underdog status is more about his social and emotional struggles. Starting off as an outcast with a cynical and jaded view of the world, largely due to his negative experience with people and his own social isolation, he's often misunderstood by others and doesn't fit the typical high school hero mold. He isn't immediately liked or accepted, but over time, through his actions and efforts of wanting to change, he earns the respect and trust of those around him. His growth is gradual and rooted in the complexity of human relationship and self-realization, rather than the typical external achievements. Looking at sports series like Blue Lock, Haiku, Slam Dunk, characters share qualities aligning to that of an underdog by their passion and their portrayal of characters who may lack natural talent or have internal struggles or physicality. Hinata's journey reflects overcoming physical and social limitation. He's a short guy, playing a sport like volleyball where height is typically seen as a pretty big advantage. Most of his teammates and opponents are taller and a lot stronger, making him seem like an unlikely candidate to excel in the sport. His height often leads to others to underestimate him, and this becomes a key part of his struggle, where now to make up for where he lacks in height, he puts into other aspects of his game, particularly being fast and athletic. Isagi, on the other hand, is a character who will find any standout or natural talent that would set him apart from everyone else. His initial position is that of a forward, but he doesn't have the explosive speed, physicality, or skills that many of the other players have that are typically associated with a striker. Every character that come across him doesn't see him as a threat, but over time, using the skills and attributes he's strong at, like having a sharp mind or a strong sense of awareness of the field, he's able to think critically about the game and use his intelligence to outplay opponents. Ippo, who initially is a shy and often overlooked by others, fits the mold needed to be an underdog. He's constantly bullied and has no real direction in life until he discovers boxing, where he begins from scratch, lacking natural talent or experience. Despite facing opponents who are often more skilled or physically gifted, Ippo's determination and willingness to push through personal limitations make him an inspiring underdog. His growth isn't instantaneous, but rather a testament to his hard work, the belief in his own potential, even when others doubt him. Whether it's a sports series like the ones I mentioned, or a more laid-back slice of life, or a high-stakes action-packed story, underdogs are at the heart of them all. These characters, no matter the genre, show that triumph often comes from those who start with the odds stacked against them. Their journey is something we can connect to, even if we can't experience the things they go through, like having magical powers or facing a giant monster. What we do share is the idea of overcoming huge obstacles and pushing through tough times to build a better future. These are the qualities and things that I and many others love about an underdog character. They're relatable, exciting, emotional, inspiring, and have everything about them you can't help but want to see them win. In the intro to this video, I asked, who are some characters that you think perfectly embody the underdog archetype? I've shared my thoughts, explained why certain characters fit this mold for me, and what it is about them that I love. But now, it's your turn. Who are some characters you think perfectly embody the phrase, the underdog?